on, the rising air moves upward and then it starts floating down, and this is the heavier layer which is being found at a higher pressure. The three cycles which we found it: the rising air, sinking air, and again there is a rising air. From 0 degrees, the air start moving upward. At 30 degrees latitude, the air start moving inside, and we said because the area occupied is less, and we see that we found a high pressure belt which come into an existence. First of all, we had to understand the uneven heating and cooling of the land. The sun rays are vertical, or sun rays are tangent, they are not vertical, occupy more land, and differences in the temperature. So equatorial low pressure belt is a perpendicular between the Tropic of Cancer and the Tropic of Capricorn. As the process operates continuously, the low pressure belt gets formed. High temperature throughout the year, so low pressure develops. Then we have a next belt called as a mid latitudinal high pressure belt. This is the area which is very important, and most of the deserts of the world are found in this region. The heated air becomes lighter and starts ascending, and after reaching the higher altitude moves toward the polar region, towards the north and south pole. Due to low temperature at the higher altitude and the air pressure and the air pre- sorry and the air cools down and becomes heavier. This heavier start descending. Now this area, they try the air why this area becomes dry? The moisture which is being absorbed by the air, and the air becomes totally dry, and therefore this is the region of the world where we have this lead to the formation of high pressure belt in these region, and these parallels of latitudes in both the hemisphere. This air is dry, and hence region does not get any rainfall. Consequently, most of the hot deserts of the world are located in this region. It's such an important, that is a typical give reason question for many of the competitive exams also. The next important region which we talked about it, subpolar low pressure belt and high polar high pressure belt. Due to Earth's curvature, area between two polar gets reduced and move towards the pole. This results in lesser friction. The friction is lesser. Air in this region is thrown out because of this reduced friction, and also becomes because of the rotation of the Earth's or the Earth's movement, and it leads to the development of low pressure belt. Conditions are observed at a subtropical low pressure belt. It is moist wind which are being found. The another high pressure belt which exists, the another high pressure belt which exists at a polar region. The air is cold. As a result, the high pressure is formed at the polar wind or the polar region. Generally occupy the area between 80 to 90 degrees north and south latitude is important. The another important factor which I just want to highlight, the time is going ahead. Just one more thing. These are the areas where we found the oscillation of the pressure belt takes place. Because the sun moves between 23 degrees north and 23 degrees south, we found the northern hemisphere the sun moves, we call it as an Uttarayan or Dakshinayan. We found the pressure belt also move toward the north and south, and we call it as an oscillation of pressure belt takes place. That is, the pressure belt change to the north and change to the south because of the temperature condition changes in region. It is very important. A next type of diagram is the distribution of isobars. The distribution of isobars, as I told, it is the water hemisphere. The northern hemisphere is the land hemisphere, and we found this isobars are very much straight in the southern hemisphere, and they are having tilted or bending towards or found a circular pattern which exists. Now, these air pressure influences the onset of monsoon. This air pressure always influences the air pressure affects the breathing activity, and that is why one has to understand why the mountaineers carry the oxygen with them when they are going at a high altitude. The air thinner, and therefore they had to carry the at a higher altitude the oxygen mask along with them. So just I wanted you to see these equatorial doldrums where the northeastern trade wind, the horse latitude, which is the westerlies, move toward the northward, and we have the polar easterlies, which originate from the polar high pressure areas and flow towards the temperate land to change in climatic pressure. I've got a very interesting diagram for you in which PGF, that is the pressure gradient, I think it's a little difficult for you to understand, and Coriolis force, these are the two important things. I just want you to, if you have not understood how the diagram which is being drawn, I just want you to analyze the bar and a line graph. The bars, we see that the higher the temperature, the lower is the pressure. Higher the temperature, the lower is the pressure. And we see that here the temperatures which are being low, at what is the height we are getting the temperatures which are being found. See the pressure gradient, 250 millibars and 250 millibars at the cooler air. See the altitudinal difference. What is the difference which is being found? The warm air is having such a high, and what is the volume which is being occupied over there? 1013. Here MB is the millibar, is the unit which is being used to measure the air pressure. This is the common